In our assessment, they would struggle to cross triple digit, and I stand by that remark. If they do, I cease to exist as political aid to anyone.
BJP was expecting 200 plus seat. Mr. Amit Shah, the Home Minister and the former party president, the senior most leader of the BJP, who has been leading the party's, campaign and tirade in West Bengal, kept saying, even the interview with the Indian Express, he kept saying that we will get 200 plus, and even off the record, the people were saying that we will cross the mark.
There were a lot of people that looked at Bengal from the position of 2016. If you look at it from the position of 2016, of course the BJP is rising, right? And the left has collapsed and they took that vote. But if you look at 2019 and the data for 2019, the TMC had about 42-43% of the vote. The BJP had about 40-41. There was a 2-3% vote share difference. And therefore there was the TMC led in 164 assembly segments, the BJP in 121. The question, honestly, in 2021 was always how much was it changing from 2019, given that Modi is now no longer on the ballot. There is no Pulwama, there is no Balakot. How much more has polarization happened? Now the answer seems to be that the BJP has not dropped 5-6%, but they have not risen at all. They are about 38.3% now, which has stayed about stable for about the last 1 hour, 2 hours, which is in fact a 3% drop. And what seems to have happened is that particularly in Malda and Murshidabad, which are Muslim-dominated areas where the left and the Congress did very well, they got about 13% of their vote predominantly from that region. So the TMC has in fact gone up for an incumbent party that has fought 2 terms. It has gone up from 44 to 48, 49%. So what has happened is that it has broken through some strongholds in North Bengal. I was looking at the data, North Bengal, BJP swept in 2019. Cooch Behar, they are behind. The BJP is behind. And the places where the TMC is ahead, it's ahead by fairly considerable margins. And the places where the BJP is ahead, the margins are very tight. That's why you're seeing a 10% vote share difference, which is fairly rare. So the TMC, basically, for TMC analysts, there were 3 levels to this election. Number 1 was that the Malda-Murshidabad belt, which was minorities, but normally the left and the Congress were very strong, that was meant to come to TMC, that has happened. Number 2 was the North Bengal, the BJP, they wanted to break in a little bit to create some hole there. That again seems to have happened. And number 3, in South Bengal, they were meant to hold on to their strongholds, and that has happened. In the ECI website says of the 279 counted, the TMC is ahead at 196 right now. On the where there are 292 leads in the local television channels, the TMC is already past 204, 205. So it seems, in fact, right now, while it's early, I mean, the TMC is very confident because they believe a 10-12% lead does not come back. They were always 3-4%, and we've made it. The BJP, I know a lot of analysts in Bengal basically did say, the Bengali press, local guys who were on the ground said that from 2016, of course, there's a rise, but how much is the BJP rising from its 2019 position? And that seems to have been a problem, because please remember, when we're talking about communal polarization, we're talking about everything else. 2019 was a very communally charged election. And you also had Pulwama, and you also had Balakot. And Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee is not standing for Prime Minister. She's not the one on the ballot. So the BJP has not been able to kind of break through those things. Then there are, of course, a lot of other factors. If you look at, the BJP's campaign was built on local violence and local corruption. Now, if we examine these 2 factors particularly, I don't think even the TMC will tell you that there is no local petty corruption. But the one thing you will find, and I spent about a month in Bengal, is that there's a question of larger whether it's good economics, good for the debt of the state. That's different. But the Mamata Banerjee government spends a lot of money on the poor. There is, and particularly women. So there is, there is Kanya Shri, there is Rupa Shri, there are 2 cycles. If you're a young person, there's 10,000 rupees. There's a lot of it. Now, the BJP's argument was, for instance, that these have all become symbols of corruption. So if you're meant to get 25,000 rupees, you get 20,000 rupees. And a couple of stories that we did in BJP strongholds, and I remember very carefully, the TMC's election pitch was that, are you sure that if we go, sure there might be some corruption, that you will still get this money. So the choice between yours is not 20 or 25,000, it's 20,000 or zero. So in that sense, the welfare web of Mamata Banerjee was still very important and very crucial. Then if you looked at, it is one of those reasons why when you looked at the numbers and the data, people might still, when the exit polls and opinion polls came out, there were 2 separate questions. Number one is the TMC a corrupt party? And a lot of, maybe 50% would say yes. But if they asked who is the most popular leader of Bengal, it was still Mamata Banerjee with above 50%. That was very high. Compared to what I saw, say, in Bihar, Mamata Banerjee was still supremely popular. If any, the anger was against the local TMC, but Mamata Banerjee was still Mamata Didi diye. She has given us. Now, when the TMC designed the campaign, knowing that there was anti-incumbency, they seemed to do it around Mamata Banerjee. And I think that has helped as well. The second was violence and organizational strength. Now, that's very interesting because, again, there is no doubt that Bengal is politically a very violent place. There are lots of murders. There is, even this campaign has had bomb blasts. You've seen Sitalkuchi. You've seen a lot of things that happen. But the funny thing is, violence or organizational strength has an inflection point. The almost presumption for the BJP was that given the TMC is so violent, therefore people will rise up and vote against it quietly. Now the thing is that you need to have enough faith that the BJP guy will win, or the local MLA will win to exercise that choice. Otherwise, if the organizational strength doesn't break, you're still going to vote for the TMC even though you might not like them. Because he will still be the guy that will dominate your panchayat, that will dominate all of that. And once the election goes and the paramilitary go, you're going to be left with that. So I think fear has an inflection point. And organizationally, the BJP was not able to break the TMC. And that brings me to the last thing, which was again very interesting, is if you look at what the BJP offered to the people of Bengal in this election. The BJP offered 2 things. That we are not the TMC and they do Muslim appeasement. Now, whatever votes they get, 38% or 35%, are based on these 2 things. But there was nothing else. I can tell you that in 27 days, I never heard once somebody tell me that the BJP's manifesto says this. I never once heard someone tell me that the BJP's chief minister is going to be this person. So, how do you supplement that 38%? Was it a purely negative campaign? And when it's a purely negative campaign, given that you're fighting a welfare web of Mamata Banerjee, and the TMC's argument on the ground is that, look, your money will go away, look, we have your MLAs. And the last thing is that even when you're making the argument, when the BJP made the argument to the people of Bengal that we are not the TMC, they made the argument to the people of Bengal with the same people of the TMC. So, Shuvendu Adhikari, Rajiv Banerjee, local guys, their MLAs didn't come out of the BJP ranks, and that's why there was such anger within the BJP when the candidate selection happened.